Welcome back. We will continue with the properties of inverse of function in this lecture. So the first property we will talk about, so this is the second property, is about the inverse of the bijection. So if we have a bijection, let f from x to y be a bijection. We know that the inverse from y to x exists, but the question is it bijection? Then f inverse from y to x is a bijection. So once it is a bijection, we will prove in this property. Once it is a bijection, I can talk about its inverse, and ultimately in this proof itself we will see that the inverse of this f inverse is f itself, is f. Okay, so this process of finding an inverse is reversed. Inverse of f is f inverse, and the inverse of f inverse is f. So the proof to show that f inverse is a bijection. So let f from x to y be bijection, and let f inverse from y to x be its inverse. So we show that this f inverse is 1 1 as well as on 2. So to show that this is 1 1, I'll take 2 points in the domain with the property that the image of those 2 points through f inverse are same. So let y1 comma y2 be 2 points in y such that f inverse, so in this case the map is f inverse. So we will see that we will assume that f inverse of y1 is same as f inverse of y2, and I'll prove that y1 is same as y2. Fine. Okay, so let me call this f inverse of y1 and f inverse of y2. Ultimately it's going to be a point in x, so let me call this as x, so it belongs to capital X. Okay, so what we have, f inverse of y1 is equal to x and f inverse of y2 is equal to x. So this will ultimately says that from the remark in the previous lecture, or from the notation in the previous lecture, whenever we have x is equal to f inverse of y, that's same as saying f of x is equal to y. So we have f of y1 f of x is equal to y1 and f of x is equal to y2. So this says that y1 is equal to y2 as we wish. So therefore we can say now that f inverse from y to x is 1 1. Next, to show that f inverse from y to x is onto. So for that I'll start with any point in x. Remember that here the mapping is f inverse, the map is f inverse. So I'll start with any point in the codomain of f inverse, and I'll show that it has a pre-image through f inverse. Okay, so basically if I start with any x in x, I want to establish y in y such that f inverse of that x is equal to, or in other words f inverse of y is equal to x. Okay, so that basically same as saying y is equal to f of x. Okay, so let me start with any point in x. Let x belongs to x. If x belongs to x, if I consider the map f from x to y, so for each point in x it's going to have image through f. So I'll call it as y. So let y be equal to f of x which falls in y. Right? Now use the fact that f is surjective. Fine. In fact it's clear from here itself. So whenever y is equal to f of x, this implies that f inverse of y is equal to x, and we are done. So we have produced a point in y such that its image through f inverse is equal to x, and hence we see that f inverse from y to x is onto. So this implies that f inverse from y to x is onto, and therefore f inverse is from y to x is a bijection. So this result says that if f from x to y is a bijection, then f inverse from y to x is a bijection, and so I can assure that the inverse of this f inverse exists. Now to determine the inverse, we see that whenever f inverse of y is equal to x, or whenever y is equal to f of x, we see that f inverse of y is equal to x, or even the converse is true, that whenever f inverse of say some y1 is equal to x, we see that f of x is equal to y1. So that should gives us the hint that inverse of this f inverse is nothing but f, because it follows through the definition. Let me take it as note. So what happened is that if y belongs to y, suppose y belongs to y, and if f inverse of y is equal to say some point x which belongs to x, then you see that f of x is equal to y, right? Therefore f inverse of inverse, because we have already shown that f inverse is a bijection, and through this we are now proving that f inverse of inverse is nothing but f. It said, see here this f inverse can be considered as your map G, and it satisfies g of y is equal to x. We say that g is the inverse of f, and we denote f inverse is simply the notation. Okay, so that g satisfies g of y is equal to x, and therefore I mean whenever g of y is equal to x, we have f of x is equal to y, and therefore this f inverse should be or this f should be inverse of f inverse. So we have this result. So the next important properties or the propositions that we have under this concept, I'll call this as property 3, will be this: if f from x to y is a bijection, we usually never say that f has an inverse. When I say that f is a bijection or f is a bijective map, that automatically implies that f inverse of that given function exists. So if f from x to y is a bijection, then f inverse composite f, see this would be map from okay, I'll do a rough work here so that I can find a domain for this f inverse of f. Okay, so f is a function from x to y, and f inverse is a function from y to x. Okay, so I'll write down this f inverse first. So f inverse composite f would be same as okay, will be a function from x to x, right? So this is a function from x to x, and in fact we say that this function is an identity function if f from x to y is a bijection. So f inverse composite f is nothing but the identity map on x. So as we see that the domain and the codomain of this map is x. Okay, and in fact you can also talk about F inverse composite F, and it's going to be a map from, okay, sorry, not F inverse composite F, F composite F inverse. So if you talk about F composite F inverse, we have F inverse going from y to x and F going from x to y. So this map is very well defined, and it's going to be a map from y to y. Okay, so this is a map from y to y, and in fact in this case this is an identity map on y. So this is a crucial result. In fact, most author take this as the definition of inverse function. So any map which satisfy this condition, this two condition, we call it as the inverse of the given function. But now using the definition, the proper definition of a bijection, we actually establish this result and we prove it. So let's see the proof for this. Okay, so if I start with any x in x, okay, first of all, as I said, I just want to find the domain and the codomain of this map. It has to be x, then only I can we can have F inverse composite F as an identity map possibly. So before getting into this, so since here f is a function from x to y and f inverse is a function from y to x, and therefore f inverse composite f is a function from x to x. Okay, now I show that this function is nothing but an identity function defined on this set x, as the domain and the codomain is same as x. Okay, so let x be a point in x. Then what we know is that f of x is equal to y if and only if x is equal to f inverse of y, by the definition of the inverse of a function. So if I see f inverse composite f evaluated at x, at any point x, then I will have f inverse of f of x, which is nothing but f inverse of y. Okay, and that's nothing but x. So we see that for any point f inverse of f maps x to x, which is the definition of an identity map, and therefore I can say that f inverse composite f is an identity map over the domain x, right? First is a identity map on the set y. So for that, first we will show that f composite f inverse have the domain and the codomain as y. So let's try to get that. So for that, first, okay, whenever I want f composite f inverse, that is f inverse is the second term in the composition, I'll write down that term first. F inverse is a map from y to x and f is a map from x to y. I purposely write it in this way. So f composite f inverse would be mapped from y to y. So the domain and the codomain are same. So I'll start with any point in y. Okay. Is that f composite f inverse at this evaluated at this point is nothing but it maps to the same point, so it's nothing but equal to y. Okay, so to get the further evaluation, because when I evaluate this at y, I'll have f of f inverse of y, and since y is in y, as of now I don't know anything about f inverse of y. Okay, but since y belongs to the codomain of this function f, it assures that there is a point, because f is a surjective map, there is a point in x such that f of x is equal to that y. But we since we also know that this is a bijection, that is, it's a injective map. In fact, there is only one such point such that f of x is equal to y. So I use that fact because that is necessary to define a map from the reverse way. So there exists unique x in x such that f of x is equal to y. Okay, so basically when f of x is equal to y, by the definition of inverse, this implies x is equal to f inverse of y. So you have produced x in x. In fact, such x is unique such that f of x is equal to y. This implies x is equal to f inverse of y. Now if you compute f composite f inverse at y, this is nothing but f of f inverse of y, and that's same as saying f of x from here, because f inverse of y is equal to x, but f of x is nothing but y. This shows that y maps to y through f composite f inverse, and therefore f composite f inverse is an identity map defined on the set y, not x, set y. Okay, so this is one crucial property of inverse of a map. Okay, now one can also talk about its converse, that is, if f from x to y is a bijection, okay, and if there is a map which satisfy this property, that is, say suppose G is a map which satisfies G composite f as an identity map and f composite G is an identity map on y, then definitely we see that this Gx as in the inverse of f. So whenever this, I mean this is actually another way of showing that this f inverse is unique. So I'll take it as the fourth property. So suppose f from x to y and g from y to x are such that G composite f is equal to, by the way, G composite f is a map defined on x, so is an identity map on x, and both this thing happen, f composite G is identity map on y, then this G acts as an inverse of f. Then so first thing you show that this f is a bijection, because unless and until f is a bijection we cannot say that we cannot define inverse of that function, and G acts as an inverse of f. So we try to get the proof for this in this way. Okay, so idea of proving first that this f is a bijection is simply through one of the previous properties of composition. See, we know that the identity function is 1 1 as well as onto, so it's going to be a bijection. Okay, so first I need to I use the fact that G composite f is in this case is a onto map, because identity is, in fact it is both onto as well as 1 1, but I'll use the fact that it is onto. Whenever this is onto, whenever G composite f is onto, in fact, yeah, I use the fact that this G composite f is 1 1. Whenever G composite f is 1 1, then this f has to be 1 1, because if f is not 1 1, then G composite f is not going to be 1 1. Same way I use for this I use the onto, the surjectivity of identity function on y. So again I use the fact that the identity function is bijection, hence it has to be a surjective, and therefore f composite G is surjective map, and therefore if f composite G is surjective, then f has to be surjective, and through both this we prove that f is bijection. So let's try to deduce that first, and then next part is to show that this G is inverse of F. So since F composite G is equal to identity of X, this implies that F composite G is bijective as identity map is bijective. Okay, so that's very simple to show that the identity map is bijective. It's 1 1 as well as onto. Okay, next, okay, so this implies that F composite G, I use the fact that F composite G is onto. In fact, you know, here G is also bijection, and since it's an inverse, it also follows from here, but from these two properties of F and G, G is also a bijection. Okay, so that also can be proved simultaneously. So F composite G is onto implies that F is onto. Next, I use the fact that this G composite F is an identity function on Y. This implies that G composite F is bijection as identity function is bijection. Okay, and this implies that G composite F, so I use the fact that it is injective because I want to show that this F is injective. So G composite F is injective or 1 1. This proves that F is 1 1 or injective, and therefore using this, combining this 1 and 2, I can say that F is bijection. Okay, so next we prove that G is equal to F inverse. So I'll write down this as a claim. So it is enough to show that whenever f of x is equal to y, then g of y is equal to x. So I'll start with any point in x, say x in x, such that its image through f is y. So what we need to show that this g is the inverse of f is that x is equal to g of y. I'm strictly using the definition, nothing else. Okay, so that follows from this. We know that x is nothing but g composite f evaluated at x, because g composite f is an identity map on y, on, okay, wait, right. So g composite f is an identity map on x, right? Yeah, I think I made an error over here. This is identity map on y, so, and this is an identity map on x. Okay, so this is y and this is x. Everything else will remain same. Okay, I cannot consider f composite g over here. F composite g is not a map from x to x, it's a map from y to y. So I know that g composite f is a map from x to x, and g composite f maps x to x. So I can write x as g composite f evaluated at x. So that's same as g of f of x. But you know what is f of x? That's y, and g of y is nothing but, oh yeah, that's what we want to show. That's what we want to prove. So we are done. So therefore we have g of y is equal to x, and hence the claim. So one last property I would like to mention in this lecture would be this. Let me start it on a new page. So property 5, it says that if f is a map from x to y and g is a map from y to z are bijection, okay, then I can define G composite F. It's going to be a map from X to Z. Then G composite F, which is from X to Z, is also a bijection. So that's an interesting result, which says that if the composition of two bijections are bijections, and now since it's a bijection, I can talk about its inverse. So inverse of G composite F is nothing but F inverse composite G inverse. Okay. So first we show that this G composite F is bijection, and in fact we have already proved this. This is proof in the previous video where we have discussed the composition. If F and G are bijection, then G composite F is bijection. So G composite F from X to Z is bijection, is proved earlier. So in this I'll be in this result in this proof I'll be only showing that G composite F, its whole inverse, is same as F inverse composite G inverse. Okay, so what I'll do for my convenience, let me take phi as a map G composite F, which is going from X to Z. Okay, and okay, by the way, I'll see first whether this is defined. So first I'll write G inverse. G inverse is a map from Z to Y, Z to Y, Y. Okay, yeah, let me erase it and rewrite. Z to Y. Okay, and F inverse is a map from Y to X. So you can see that the codomain of G inverse and the domain of F inverse exist, and so I can define F inverse composite G inverse, and it's going to be a map from Z to X. So so you can see that you know, the domain of G composite F X is the codomain, this is Z, and the codomain of G composite F X is the domain of F inverse composite G inverse. So let me take, for my convenience, psi to be F inverse composite G inverse. Okay, now I'll use the above property to prove that the inverse of G composite F is nothing but the F inverse composite G inverse. So that means I'll be showing that this psi is the inverse of phi. Okay, now above property, property number 3. See, F from X to Y is a bijection. Then you know, we need to satisfy, I mean, F inverse will satisfy this. F inverse composite F is an identity map over X, and F composite F inverse is an identity map over Y. So in this case, it's enough to show that phi composite psi is an identity map over Y, right? Is it over Y, over Z, and psi composite phi is an identity map over X, okay, as the domain of phi is Z, right? So we look at this map, phi composite Z, phi composite psi. Okay, so phi composite psi, from the construction, phi is G composite F, and this is F inverse composite G inverse. I use one of the important property of composition, that composition is associative, and so I can write down this as G composite F inverse. I can shift the bracket in this way, composite G inverse. Okay, now F composite F inverse, what can you say about F composite F inverse? So first of all, you see from where does this map, what is this map, F composite F inverse? F inverse is a map from Y to X, and F is a map from X to Y. So therefore F inverse f composite f inverse should be a map from x to y to y, right? Okay, let me write down this thing so that it become clear to me. First I'll write down f inverse from y to x, and f is a map from x to y. So I can define f composite f composite f inverse. This is going to be a map from y to y, right? And therefore this is going to be identity over y. So therefore this is same as G composite identity over y composite G inverse. I will evaluate this first again using the associativity property. Now composition over identity map is always the map itself. Okay, so this is same as G composite identity map will always give us G, and so this is G composite G inverse, and therefore G composite G inverse. Now here again I'll rewrite what is G inverse. G inverse is a map from Z to Y, and G is a map from Y to Z. So therefore G composite G inverse is a map from Z to Z, and we claim that G composite G inverse in this case have to be identity map defined over Z. And so we claim that phi composite psi is an identity map over Z, as psi is the domain of Z. So now we need to only show that psi composite phi is an identity map over the domain of phi, that is x. So how so we do it in a similar way. Now this is same as f inverse composite G inverse composite G composite f, and so you reshuffle the bracket, you have f inverse composite G inverse composite G composite f and f inverse composite. Now G composite G inverse composite G is going to be a map from y to y, so this is a map on y. Composite f, I'll combine this first. Any map acting on an identity map will give me a same map again, so this would be f inverse composite f. Then again f inverse composite f is a map from x to x, and therefore this is, by the definition of f inverse, this has to be an identity over x. And so we have proved that composition of this two map is the identity over the domain of psi, and identity over the domain of the other map, that is phi respectively. And therefore by the above property I see that this psi x is the inverse of phi, or phi x is the inverse of phi. Okay, so hence we claim that psi is an inverse of, in fact is the inverse of phi. Okay, so that's the result. Therefore f inverse composite G inverse is the inverse of G composite f. So that's one of the crucial result in the inverse of composition of two functions, and this can be extended to a composition inverse of a composition of more than two functions also. Thank you for watching this video.